This is the moment everything changes for you. Not someday, not later, now. You feel it already, that quiet pull inside, the awareness you've been avoiding. Most people drown it out. They stay busy, they stay distracted. You don't have to. There are two paths in front of you. One is noisy, crowded, comfortable. The other is focused, demanding, powerful. Only a few choose it. And you know which one is calling you. Focus is the divider. It separates average days from unstoppable lives. It turns effort into impact. Right now, this is a decision point. No pressure, no fear, just truth. You can keep drifting or you can lock in. Breathe. Listen. Let the noise fall away. Say it quietly if you need to. I am ready. Feel that shift. Say it again with strength. I decide. Stay here. What comes next will require you to rise beyond limits. Chapter 1. The line between average and elite. There is a line in front of you. You may not see it at first. It does not announce itself. It does not glow or make noise, but it is there, steady and unmoving. You have crossed it before without realizing. You have stepped back from it too. This line separates average from elite. Not talent, not luck. Focus. Take a breath. Slow down. Look closer. This moment is not about judgment. It is about awareness. And awareness changes everything. Most people live their entire lives circling this line, never naming it, never owning it. You are here to see it clearly. You are here to understand what it asks of you. Imagine yourself standing at a crossroad. One path feels familiar. It is busy, loud, comfortable. It offers movement without direction, effort without depth. The other path is quieter, narrower. It does not promise ease, it promises meaning. You already know this place. You have stood here before, late at night, early in the morning, in moments when the world went quiet and your thoughts got honest. This is where potential speaks. This is where excuses fade. This is where truth waits. Be honest. You know which path you usually take, and you know why. Distraction does not arrive as an enemy. It comes as relief, as entertainment, as a small reward. It whispers that tomorrow will be here, that focus can wait, that one more delay does not matter. And slowly, without force, without drama, it pulls you away from who you could become, not all at once, piece by piece. A little clarity lost here, a little energy scattered there, until one day you feel busy but unfulfilled, capable but stalled. This is not failure, this is drift. And drift is what focus corrects. Focus is not intensity. It is not burning yourself out. It is not forcing effort for applause. Focus is loyalty to your future. It is choosing what matters most again and again, even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. The elite understand this. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on alignment. Their actions match their direction. Their time reflects their values. They are not louder than others. They are clearer. Look closer. That clarity is not accidental. There is a version of you that already knows this. A quieter, steadier self. The one who feels uneasy when distracted. The one who senses wasted potential. The one who wants more not out of greed but out of responsibility. This chapter is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to that self. The one who respects their own attention. The one who does not abandon their future for short comfort. You are not broken. You are being called back. The line between average and elite is crossed in small moments, in choices that seem insignificant. What you do when no one demands it. What you return to when things get hard. What you protect when everything else is loud. Average waits for conditions to be perfect. Elite decides first. Average reacts. Elite responds. Average spends attention freely. Elite guards it carefully. These are not judgments. They are patterns, and patterns can change. Pause here. Feel the weight of responsibility not as pressure but as power. Responsibility means you have influence. It means your actions matter. It means your focus can reshape your future. This is where tension rises, not from fear but from truth. You cannot unknow what you are seeing now. You cannot unsee the line, and you do not need to cross it all at once. You only need to choose which direction you face. Decide, not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, firmly. Decide that your attention is valuable. Decide that your future deserves loyalty. Decide that drifting is no longer acceptable. Say it to yourself, I see clearly. Let that land. Say it again. I choose awareness. This is not about perfection. It is about presence, returning again and again to what matters. There will be resistance, not from the world but from your old self. The version of you that is used to comfort, used to distraction, used to delay. Thank that version. It kept you safe. It helped you survive. but it does not get to lead anymore. You are stepping into responsibility now. Leadership of your own mind. Leadership of your own direction. This is where growth begins. Feel the relief that comes with clarity. You no longer have to chase everything. You no longer have to prove anything. You only have to focus, to narrow, to commit. The elite are not special. They are selective. They choose fewer things and give them more attention. They understand that focus compound. Small disciplined actions repeated create unstoppable momentum. Stay with this feeling, this grounded resolve. You are not rushing. You are aligning. The path ahead will ask more of you. It will test your loyalty, but it will also give back more than you expect. You are standing at the line now, aware, present, ready. And once you cross it even slightly, you begin to change how you see yourself. This is where it starts. Chapter 2. Why the 1% guard their attention. There is a reason the highest performers move differently. You may have noticed it without having words for it. They are not rushed. They are not loud. They are not constantly explaining who they are or where they are going. They move with intention. They guard something most people give away freely. Their attention. This chapter is about understanding why. Not to imitate blindly, but to awaken the same discipline inside you. Calm your mind. Listen closely. What you are about to recognize has been shaping outcomes all along. Attention is not infinite. It feels like it should be, but it is not. Every thought you entertain, every distraction you allow, every unnecessary conversation you engage in pulls from a limited reserve. Most people never notice the cost. They feel busy. They feel involved. They feel occupied, but they are not building. They are reacting. The 1% see attention as a sacred resource. They treat it the way others treat time or money, with respect, with boundaries, with purpose. This is not secrecy for ego. This is strategy for growth. Picture two people starting from the same place. Same skills, same opportunity. One speaks constantly about what they will do. They announce plans early. They seek validation. They explain delays. They fill silence with noise. The other works quietly. They say less. They listen more. They move without announcement. Months pass. One is still talking. The other is ahead. This is not coincidence. This is the result of protected attention. Quiet builders invest energy into action. Loud talkers leak it through explanation. Silence does something powerful. It gathers strength. When you are not explaining yourself, you conserve energy. When you are not defending your choices, you sharpen clarity. When you are not broadcasting your next move, you stay flexible. The 1% understand this instinctively. They do not owe the world a running commentary on their progress. They know that premature exposure weakens momentum. Growth needs space. Like roots underground, it strengthens unseen before it rises. Turn it down, not the world. Your need to respond to it. You do not need to react to every signal. You do not need to engage every distraction. Stepping back is not withdrawal, it is recalibration. When you step back, you see patterns. You see where your attention has been draining. You see what truly deserves focus. This is where identity begins to shift. You are no longer someone available to everything. You are becoming someone committed to something. Delayed gratification lives here. The ability to wait, to build without applause, to improve without recognition. This is uncomfortable for the part of you that wants immediate results, but it is liberating for the part of you that wants lasting impact. High performers are willing to be misunderstood in the short term to be undeniable in the long term. They do not rush visibility. They earn it. And that patience compounds. Think about how often you feel pulled outward. Notifications, opinions, requests, expectations. Each one asks for a piece of you. None of them announce the cost. Attention spent cannot be recovered. The 1% know this, so they choose deliberately. They protect silence not because they are distant, but because they are focused. Silence is not empty. It is full of intention. It is where plans mature. It is where discipline forms. Lock in. This is the command moment. Lock into what matters. Lock into the work that moves you forward. Lock into the version of you that does not need constant feedback to stay committed. This is not isolation. This is alignment. When you lock in, you stop scattering yourself. You stop fragmenting your energy. You bring your attention back under your control. That control is leadership, first over yourself, then over outcome. Notice the relief that follows. When you stop explaining, you feel lighter. When you stop announcing, you feel steadier. When you stop seeking permission, you feel grounded. This relief is not laziness. It is clarity. You no longer have to convince anyone, you only have to execute. The quiet confidence that grows here is unshakable. It does not depend on praise. It does not collapse under doubt. It stands on action. There will be moments when silence feels uncomfortable, when you want to share, when you want to be seen, when you want reassurance. Pause in those moments. Breathe. Ask yourself what you are protecting, your focus, your energy, your future. Remember the core lesson. What you protect determines what grows. If you protect distraction, distraction grows. If you protect focus, focus grows. The choice repeats daily, and each repetition strengthens identity. You are becoming someone who values depth over noise, someone who measures progress internally before externally, someone who understands that not every step needs an audience. This is an upgrade, not a loss. You are not shy. In King, you are concentrating. Like light through a lens, focus intensifies power. Spread thin, it warms. Concentrated, it cuts. Say it to yourself. My focus is protected. Let that be a boundary. Say it again. Silence strengthens me. Let that be permission. You do not need to explain this shift to anyone. You do not need approval. You are learning the discipline of selective attention. This is how leaders are built. Quietly, consistently, intentionally. As you move forward, notice how different it feels to keep your plans close, to act first, to speak later, or not at all. There is strength here. There is momentum here. You are no longer leaking energy. You are storing it, preparing it. And soon, when it is time to move, that stored focus will carry you faster than noise ever could. Stay locked in. The next level demands it. Chapter 3. The cost of distraction you never calculated. Distraction rarely announces itself as danger. It arrives quietly. It feels harmless. It blends into daily life so smoothly that you barely notice it taking shape. A moment here, a thought there, a delay that seems reasonable, and because nothing breaks immediately, it feels safe. This chapter is not here to, it is here to reveal something you were never taught to measure, the true cost of distraction, not in hours, not in effort, but in futures quietly postponed. Pause for a moment, breathe, let your mind settle. There is nothing you need to defend here, no mistake you need to justify, only something you need to see clearly. Distraction is not weakness, it is unmanaged attention. And unmanaged attention always sends a bill later. Every time focus slips, something small is charged to your future. Most people never calculate that total. You are here to calculate it now. Think about how distraction feels in the moment. Light, easy, sometimes even comforting. It promises relief from effort, relief from pressure, relief from responsibility. It says you can come back to what matters later, and later always feels far enough away to ignore, but later arrives faster than expected. And when it does, you feel it, not as failure, as distance from momentum, distance from confidence, distance from the version of you that knows you are capable of more. Imagine your future self standing a few years ahead, not judging you, not disappointed, just waiting, calm, steady. A version of you who stayed focused, who followed through, who protected attention. Notice how clearly they stand, how grounded they feel. They are not rushing, they are not scattered, they are solid. They have momentum because they earned it over time. Now notice the space between you and them. That space is not filled with lack of talent. It is filled with moments of distraction. Small ones, repeated ones, uncounted ones. This is where tension begins to rise, not from fear, from recognition. You realize that distraction did not steal everything at once, it diluted it. Confidence does not disappear overnight, it thins. Momentum does not collapse instantly, it slows. Belief does not shatter, it weakens quietly. And because the change is gradual, it feels normal. Until one day you notice you hesitate more than you act, you question more than you decide, you plan more than you execute. That is the invoice arriving. Every distraction invoices your future. Not dramatically, precisely. A lost hour today becomes hesitation tomorrow. A scattered week becomes a delayed year. A habit of postponing becomes an identity of waiting. This is not punishment, it is cause and effect. And the moment you see it, you gain power, because what can be seen can be changed. Stop drifting. Let that command land without force. Stop drifting does not mean rush. It means return. Come back to your body, come back to your breath, come back to the present moment. Distraction pulls you forward into imagined comfort or backward into familiar habits. Focus brings you, and here is where influence exists. You cannot act in yesterday. You cannot build in tomorrow. You can only build now. This is where your future is shaped, in ordinary moments made deliberate. Notice how distraction affects confidence. Each time you avoid what you know matters, something subtle happens. Trust erodes. Not others' trust, your own. You begin to question your reliability. You start negotiating with yourself. You lower expectations to avoid disappointment. This is not because you lack strength. It is because repetition trains belief. Repeated distraction trains doubt. Repeated focus trains confidence. Both compound. One weaken, one build. Be here not perfectly, fully. Feel the weight of this truth without turning away. This is the emotional center of the chapter, the place most people rush past. Stay here, stay with this. You are not being asked to judge your past. You are being invited to reclaim your direction. Awareness is not meant to punish. It is meant to restore choice. Now the pressure builds. Because once you see the cost, you cannot unsee it. You realize that distraction has never been free. It has been financed by your future self. And that future self has been patient, waiting through delays, waiting through half-commitments, waiting through moments when you knew better but chose comfort. They are still waiting, not angrily, expectantly. They know what you are capable of when you are present. Here comes the crescendo. The moment of intensity, short lines, rapid truth, stay with this, focus slipping, time passing, potential waiting, stay with this, drift costs, delay costs, distraction costs, stay with this. You feel it now. The weight, the clarity, the urgency, stay with this. You do not need fear to move, you need truth, and the truth is clear. Stop drifting, come back, be here. Let the command settle. Then feel the relief that follows, because responsibility brings power with. If distraction created the distance, focus can close it, not all at once, step by step, moment by moment. The same way drift accumulated, presence can accumulate. You are not behind, you are at a turning point. This realization is not heavy, it is freeing. Say it quietly, I return to myself. Feel what that means. Returning does not mean starting over, it means resuming ownership. Say it again. I am present. Presence is not intensity, it is honesty. It is choosing to meet the moment instead of escaping it. And each time you do, trust rebuilds. Confidence thickens. Momentum begins to move again. Notice how different it feels when you are present. Your thoughts slow, your body steadies, your decisions sharpen. This is not motivation. This is alignment. You are no longer scattered across possibilities. You are centered in action. And from this center, progress becomes simpler, not simpler. The cost of distraction was never meant to scare you. It was meant to wake you up, to show you that your attention matters more than you were ever taught, that your future has been listening to your daily choices. And now those choices can speak differently. You are here, awake, aware, ready to protect what matters. As this chapter closes, hold on to this clarity. Do not rush to fix everything. Just stay present, just stop drifting, just come back again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Because the moment you remain here, fully here, something shifts. Momentum begins to whisper, and your future self takes one step closer, no longer waiting but moving toward you. Chapter 4, Focus is a decision, not a feeling. There is a quiet lie that keeps capable people waiting. It sounds reasonable. It feels patient. It says you will move when you feel ready, when confidence arrives, when motivation shows up, when conditions feel right. This lie does not shout, it whispers, and because it whispers, it goes unchallenged. This chapter is where that lie ends, calmly, clearly, without drama. You are not here to wait anymore, you are here to decide. Feelings are powerful, but they are unreliable leaders. They shift with sleep, stress, environment, and noise. If your actions depend on how you feel, your direction will always be unstable. This is not a flaw, it is human nature. The mistake is allowing feelings to lead when they were never meant to. The 1% understand this difference early or learn it through discipline. They do not wait to feel ready. They move first. Readiness follows action. Motivation follows movement. Clarity follows commitment. Notice how calm this truth feels when you stop resisting it. There is relief. You no longer need to generate emotion to act. You no longer need to wait for inspiration to begin. You only need a decision. Focus is not emotional intensity. It is behavioral loyalty. Loyalty to the direction you chose, even when feelings fluctuate, especially when they fluctuate. Think back to moments when you did your best work. Not when you felt excited, but when you showed up consistently. when you followed through even on ordinary days. Those moments were not driven by mood, they were driven by decision. Somewhere at some point you decided that the task mattered more than your comfort. That decision created momentum. That momentum created confidence. This sequence matters: decision first, feeling later. The average trap is subtle. It tells you to wait for certainty before acting. It convinces you that hesitation is wisdom, but hesitation is not caution when it repeats. It is avoidance wearing a reasonable mask. No judgment, only clarity. Waiting to feel ready is how momentum dissolves. It stretches preparation into procrastination. It keeps potential permanently rehearsing instead of performing. The 1% do not rush, they decide. There is a difference. Rushing is emotional, decision is grounded. When you decide, you remove negotiation. You eliminate internal debate. You simplify action. This simplicity is what creates speed over time, not frantic effort, not constant urgency, but clear decision, executed consistently. Stand up. Let that command land in your body. Stand up does not mean physical movement alone. It means mental posture. It means no longer shrinking from responsibility. It means meeting your own expectations with respect. When you stand up internally, your actions align. You stop asking permission. You stop waiting for reassurance. You lead yourself. Discipline leads. Motivation obeys. Repeat that. Discipline leads. Motivation obeys. This is not a harsh rule. It is a freeing one. Discipline is not punishment. It is structure. It is deciding in advance who you will be when feelings change. It is creating boundaries that protect progress. When discipline leads, motivation no longer needs to be chased. It arrives naturally, drawn by movement. Notice the tension building. The part of you that wants comfort may resist this idea. That is normal. Comfort prefers flexibility. Discipline prefers clarity. Comfort wants options. Discipline chooses direction. This tension is not a problem. It is a signal that growth is happening. Stay with it. Do not rush past it. This is where identity shifts. Choose now, not tomorrow, not after one more delay. Choose now what you will do when you do not feel like doing it. This choice removes friction later. It simplifies future moments. When the time comes, you do not debate. You execute. That execution builds trust. Trust builds confidence. Confidence reinforces identity. This is how leaders are built internally before they are seen externally. Military-like clarity does not mean aggression. It means precision. It means knowing the objective and committing to it fully. It means conserving energy by eliminating indecision. When your mind is clear, your actions are efficient. When your actions are efficient, progress accelerates. This clarity is available to you not after motivation, through decision. Move. This command is simple for a reason. Movement breaks hesitation. Movement creates feedback. Movement generates learning. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to take the next step deliberately. Action sharpens awareness. Awareness refines direction. Waiting dulls both. There is relief on the other side of decision. Feel it. When you decide, pressure decreases. Anxiety quiets. Mental noise fades. You stop spinning possibilities and start building reality. This relief is not escape. It is alignment. You are no longer split between intention and action. You are whole. The identity shift deepens here. You are becoming someone who acts without waiting for emotional permission. Someone who respects commitment more than comfort. Someone who understands that leadership begins with self-command. This is not about being rigid. It is about being reliable. Reliable to yourself. Reliable to your future. Say it internally. I act without hesitation. Let that settle. Hesitation loses its grip when it is named. Say it again. I lead myself. Leadership is not loud. It is consistent. It is doing what needs to be done before you feel like it. It is choosing direction and honoring it daily. Think about how different life feels when you trust yourself to act. When you know that even on low-energy days you will show up. That trust creates calm. It removes the fear of inconsistency. You stop fearing your own moods. You stop negotiating with yourself. You become steady. This steadiness compounds. Others may not notice immediately. That is fine. You will notice. Your days will feel cleaner, your focus sharper, your progress more tangible. This is not because you feel motivated all the time. It is because you decided who you are and acted accordingly. There will still be days when motivation is low. That does not change. What changes is your response. Low motivation no longer stops you. It simply accompanies you. You move with it instead of waiting for it to lead. This is maturity. This is leadership. This is focus expressed through discipline. The tension eases now. You realize that you do not need to conquer emotion. You only need to stop letting them decide. Emotions can inform you. They do not have to command you. That authority belongs to you. When you reclaim it, everything shifts. Focus as a decision simplifies your life. Fewer debates, fewer delays, fewer excuses disguised as You see tasks clearly. You handle them. You move on. This simplicity frees mental energy. That energy fuels creativity. Creativity enhances impact. Impact reinforces purpose. Stay with this clarity as the chapter draws toward its edge. You are not rushing forward. You are stabilizing, grounding, preparing for deeper commitment. This foundation matters. Without it, focus collapses under pressure. With it, focus becomes resilient. Remember this sequence. Decide, act, feel, not the other way around. This order protects momentum. It builds trust. It creates identity. You are no longer someone who waits to feel ready. You are someone who moves and becomes ready through movement. As this chapter closes, let the final command echo quietly. Stand up. Choose now. Move. You do not need to feel anything special to do this. You only need to decide. And once you do, something subtle begins to change. Your actions align, your confidence steadies, your future responds. The next stage will ask more of this discipline, more consistency, more loyalty to direction, but you are no longer unprepared. You have crossed another internal line. You are learning how to lead yourself without hesitation. And once that skill is owned, it does not lead. It follows you forward, steady and reliable into what comes next. Chapter 5. Building mental authority over yourself. Leadership does not begin outside of you. It never has. Before titles, before recognition, before influence over others, there is one requirement that cannot be skipped: authority over yourself. This chapter is where that authority is built, not borrowed, not requested, claimed, calmly, deliberately, without permission. You are not here to be managed by moods, habits, or circumstance. You are here to lead. Most people spend their lives responding to pressure, responding to expectations, responding to comfort and discomfort. They mistake reaction for action. They confuse movement with direction. And because of that, their lives feel busy but unowned. You are stepping out of that pattern now. This is not about control for control's sake. This is about alignment, about deciding who gives commands inside your mind, and making sure it is. Imagine what it means to become your own leader. Not a harsh ruler, not a punishing voice. A steady presence, clear, fair, consistent. A leader who sets direction and follows through. A leader who does not abandon the mission because conditions change. When you lead yourself, you stop negotiating with old habits. You stop asking for permission from comfort. You stop waiting for validation to move. You act because you decided. The truth is simple. If you cannot command yourself, nothing else follows. Talent without self-command drifts. Opportunity without self-command dissolves. Intelligence without self-command hesitates. Authority over others, over outcomes, over direction always begins with authority over your own actions. This is not pressure. This is power. And power grows when it is exercised. Notice how calm this idea feels when you stop resisting it. You are not being asked to become someone else. You are being asked to take responsibility for who already exists. The part of you that knows what needs to be done has been quiet for too long. Not weak, just outvoted by habits. This chapter gives that part the authority it deserves. Old habits will challenge this shift, not aggressively. Comfort rarely does. It questions softly. It suggests delay. It asks for exceptions. It reminds you of how things used to be. This is the internal conflict. You versus your old self, not as an enemy, as a former leader whose term has ended. You do not need to destroy old habits. You need to stop letting them decide. Authority is built through consistency, not intensity. You do not need dramatic changes. You need clear commands followed by action. Small commands, repeated, honored. This is how trust is built internally. Each time you follow through, authority strengthens. Each time you hesitate without reason, authority weakens. This feedback loop is always running. You are learning how to influence it deliberately. Hold the line. This command matters. Holding the line means staying with your decision when it becomes uncomfortable. It means not abandoning standards when effort is required. It means maintaining direction when distractions. Holding the line is not rigidity. It is integrity. It is alignment between what you say matters and what you do when tested. There will be moments when motivation fades. That does not revoke authority. Leaders do not step down because enthusiasm fluctuates. They continue. Calmly, methodically. Authority does not shout. It does not panic. It simply remains. When you stay firm in small moments, you train your nervous system to trust you. That trust becomes confidence. Quiet, stable, durable. Think about the version of you that reacts automatically, the one pulled by habits, impulses, and routines built long ago. That version is not wrong. It was shaped by repetition. It learned what it was taught. Now you are teaching something new. Authority over self is a skill. It is learned. And like any skill, it improves with practice. Stay firm. This is not about resisting everything. It is about honoring what you chose. When you decide to focus, you focus. When you decide to act, you act. When you decide to rest, you rest without guilt. Authority includes discernment. It includes clarity. You are not becoming rigid. You are becoming reliable. Notice how identity begins to shift here. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes to follow through. You become someone who expects it. That expectation changes behavior. You prepare differently. You speak to yourself differently. You stop overpromising and start executing. This is self-respect in action. There is tension in this chapter because authority demands responsibility. Once you take command, excuses lose power. You can no longer blame circumstances for inaction. This is not meant to burden you. It is meant to free you. Responsibility returns control, and control allows growth. Pause and feel this moment. You are not forcing change. You are stepping into it. Authority feels grounded, stable. It does not rush. It does not hesitate. It chooses and proceeds. This steadiness creates relief. You no longer have to wonder who is in charge. You are. Say it internally. I command my actions. Let that settle without bravado. Command does not mean harshness. It means clarity. It means decision followed by movement. Say it again. I trust myself. Trust is built, not demanded. Each time you act in alignment, trust grows. Old habits will test this trust. They will offer familiar comfort. They will suggest exceptions. This is where leadership shows, not in eliminating temptation, in choosing direction despite it. You are not at war with yourself. You are leading yourself forward. Authority compound. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Decisions become simpler. Actions become cleaner. Mental noise reduces. This is not because life becomes easier. It is because you become clearer. Clarity simplifies complexity. Think about what happens when authority is absent. Days feel scattered. Intentions remain intentions. You feel capable but inconsistent. Authority resolves this gap. It aligns intention and behavior. That alignment is confidence, not the loud kind. The quiet kind that does not need reassurance. Hold the line again. Feel the repetition. Authority is reinforced through repetition. This is how identity locks in. You are becoming someone who does what they say, someone who follows through, someone who can be trusted by themselves. There is relief here. You no longer need external validation to move. You no longer wait for approval. You no longer depend on praise to continue. You act because it aligns with who you are becoming. This internal validation is stable. It does not fluctuate with opinion. Leadership over self creates momentum. Momentum creates belief. Belief reinforces leadership. This loop strengthens over time. You are entering it now. Slowly, intentionally, without announcement. Stay firm as this chapter deepens. Firm does not mean tense. It means grounded. It means not abandoning your standards when energy dips. You rest when needed. You resume when ready. Authority allows both. Notice how your inner dialogue changes. Fewer negotiations, fewer excuses, more clarity, more follow-through. This is not self-criticism. It is self-direction. The voice becomes calmer, more decisive, more supportive. Authority does not insult, it instructs. You are becoming your own leader. This is not symbolic, it is practical. It shows up in daily choices, in what you prioritize, in what you ignore, in how you respond under pressure. Leadership is not a role you perform. It is a standard you maintain. There will be days when old habits push harder. That is expected. Change invites resistance. Stay steady. Stay consistent. Authority is not proven in easy moments. It is proven in ordinary ones. Feel the empowerment building now. Not excitement, confidence. The kind that does not need to announce itself. You know what you will do. You trust that you will do it. That trust changes how you move through the world. Say it again. I command my actions. Let it be calm. Let it be real. Say it again. I trust myself. This trust is earned daily, and you are earning it now. As this chapter closes, recognize what has shifted. You are no longer waiting to be led. You are no longer outsourcing discipline. You are taking command, quietly, firmly, consistently. Hold the line, stay firm. What comes next will require this authority, deeper focus, stronger discipline, greater consistency, but you are no longer unprepared. You are no longer undecided. You are leading yourself now. And once that authority is established, it becomes the foundation everything else stands on. Chapter 6. The Discipline Loop of the 1%. The difference you are building now is subtle, but it is decisive. You are no longer chasing intensity. You are learning rhythm. This is where many people get confused. They believe success is fueled by bursts of motivation, by emotional highs, by moments of excitement. Those moments feel powerful, but they are unstable. They rise fast and disappear just as quickly. The 1% understand something quieter and far more effective. They build through discipline loops, repeated actions, familiar pattern, daily returns to what matters. This chapter is about removing drama from progress, about replacing emotional spikes with steady rhythm. Calm does not mean weak. Calm is controlled. Calm is sustainable. Calm allows you to show up again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Discipline, when ritualized, removes friction. It makes focus automatic. You stop asking yourself whether you will act. You simply act. Think about the days you felt proud of. Not because something big happened, but because you showed up. You completed what you said you would. You honored your commitment. Those days may not have been exciting, but they were solid. They created a quiet confidence. That confidence did not come from intensity. It came from repetition. This is the discipline loop begin. Ning to form. The 1% do not rely on extraordinary days. They rely on ordinary ones done well. They design their lives around repeatable actions, small wins that stack, simple routines that reinforce identity. They understand that progress is not created by how hard you push once, but by how often you return. Return is the key word here. Return to the task. Return to the habit. Return to focus. Storytelling matters here because this is where people lose patience. Imagine two individuals again. One waits for the perfect day. They wait for energy, inspiration, and clarity to align. When it does, they push hard, they feel accomplished. Then they disappear for days, sometimes weeks. The other shows up daily. Same time, same effort, no emotional spikes, no dramatic declarations, just consistent work. Months later, the difference is undeniable. One is still preparing. The other has built momentum. Momentum is not speed, it is continuity. It is the feeling of being carried forward by your own consistency. Once momentum forms, effort feels lighter, not because the work is easier, but because resistance decreases. Discipline eliminates the daily decision-making that exhausts most people. You are not asking yourself if you should act. You already decided. That decision was made earlier. That is leadership applied to habit. Repeat. This command is simple because it needs to be. Repeat what works. Repeat what aligns. Repeat the behaviors that move you forward. Repetition is not boredom. It is mastery in motion. Each repetition deepens skill. Each repetition reinforces identity. Each repetition reduces hesitation. Over time, what once required effort becomes automatic. Return. There will be days when you miss a step. That is expected. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about return. Return to the rhythm without punishment. Return without overthinking. Return without drama. The faster you return, the stronger the loop becomes. The 1% do not spiral after interruptions. They resume. That ability to return calmly is what keeps them consistent over years, not weeks. Notice how this feels different from intensity. Intensity says go all in now. Discipline says show up again. Intensity demands excitement. Discipline demands commitment. Intensity burns fuel quickly. Discipline conserves energy. This is why discipline lasts. This is why focus becomes automatic. When discipline is ritualized, it removes choice. And when choice is removed, action flows. Daily wins matter more than dramatic breakthrough. A daily win might be small, completing a task, keeping a promise, protecting an hour of focus. These wins do not impress others. That is not their purpose. They impress you. They teach your mind that you are reliable. That reliability builds trust. Trust builds confidence. Confidence stabilizes identity. You are not here to feel unstoppable. You are here to become inevitable. Inevitable progress is quiet. It does not announce itself. It shows up consistently. The discipline loop feeds itself. Action reinforces belief. Belief reinforces action. Over time, this loop becomes who you are. Continue. This command matters when motivation fades. Continue does not mean push harder. It means stay steady. Maintain rhythm. Keep the loop intact. Even at reduced capacity, consistency matters. A small action preserves the loop. A skipped action weakens it. This is not about guilt. It is about structure. Structure protects focus when emotions fluctuate. There is empowerment in this realization. You no longer need to wait for the perfect mood. You no longer need to rely on excitement. You have a system, and systems outperform emotions over time. This is where self-trust deepens. You know that even on average days, progress continues. Now the transformation moment begins to rise. The second crescendo. Feel the build, short lines, clear rhythm, stay with it, repeat. Return, continue, stay with it, day by day, action by action, stay with it. Focus strengthens, identity solidifies, stay with it. No rush, no retreat, stay with it. This is where discipline stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. You no longer think of yourself as someone trying to be consistent. You are consistent. That shift changes everything. You plan differently. You recover faster. You trust your process. Say it internally. I build daily. Let that be true without exaggeration. Building daily does not mean maximum output. It means minimum consistency. It means doing something aligned every day. Say it again. I am consistent. This affirmation is not a wish. It is a reflection of behavior. Notice the calm empowerment settling in. There is no urgency, no panic, just direction. You are not behind. You are in motion. Motion creates confidence. Confidence creates patience. Patience allows long-term vision. The discipline loop does not require excitement to function. It requires commitment. Once commitment is established, focus becomes easier to exceed. You no longer fight distraction as often. You return naturally to what matters. Your mind learns the pattern. Your body follows. Think about the freedom this creates. You are no longer dependent on emotional highs. You are no longer derailed by low-energy days. You operate within rhythm. Rhythm adapts. Rhythm endures. This is how the 1% sustain performance over time. There will still be moments of excitement. They will arrive naturally as results accumulate, but they are no longer required for action. That is the upgrade. You act first. Feelings follow. Results compound. Repeat, return, continue. As this chapter begins to close, hold on to this understanding. You are not chasing motivation, and you are building a loop that protects focus, a loop that reinforces identity, a loop that carries you forward even when attention wavers. Discipline, once ritualized, becomes invisible. It feels normal, natural. That is when focus becomes automatic. You do not force it, you enter it. And once you are there, staying becomes easier than leaving. You are building daily now, quietly, consistently, without needing to announce it. This rhythm will carry you into deeper focus, greater clarity, and stronger leadership. Stay in the loop. The next level depends on it. Chapter 7, Identity Shift. You are becoming dangerous to average. Something has changed and you can feel it. Not as noise, not as excitement, as certainty. You are no longer standing on the edge wondering if this version of you will last. You are no longer trying to be focused. You are becoming focused. This is the turning point, the place where effort turns into identity, where what you do repeatedly starts to describe who you are. And once identity shifts, everything else follows. Up to now, focus may have felt like something you had to summon, something you worked at, something you protected deliberately. That phase mattered. It built the foundation. But now something deeper is forming. Your identity is beginning to support your focus automatically. You no longer need to force yourself away from distractions as often. You notice them, but they hold less power. Not because you fight them harder, but because they no longer align with who you are becoming. This is how real change happens. Quietly, internally, before the world ever notices. You stop negotiating with behaviors that do not match your direction. You stop explaining why you are different now. You simply act in alignment. Identity does the work discipline used to do. Focus becomes natural because distraction feels out of place. Think about how identity shapes behavior. When you believe something about yourself, you act accordingly without effort. You do not argue, you do not debate it daily. You follow it instinctively. This chapter is where that instinct is being rewired. You are no longer someone who occasionally focuses. You are becoming someone for whom focus is normal. The word dangerous here is intentional, not dangerous to people, dangerous to average thinking, dangerous to drift, dangerous to excuses. Average thrives on hesitation, on distraction, on waiting. When your identity shifts, average loses its grip. It can no longer pull you back easily. You are not tempted in the same way. You see through patterns that once held you. This awareness is power. Look ahead for a moment. Future pace yourself. Imagine 6 months from now, a year from now. Notice how you move, how you decide, how you protect your time. You do not rush, you do not scatter, you choose deliberately, you follow through. Others may call it discipline. You know it as alignment. This future version of you is not strained. They are steady. They are dangerous to average because average cannot predict them, distract them, or slow them down. This identity shift removes friction. Tasks that once felt heavy now feel expected. Focus is no longer a special state. It is your baseline. You do not celebrate it every time. You rely on it. That reliability is what changes outcomes. When focus becomes who you are, progress accelerates without extra effort. Step into it. This command is about acceptance. Accepting that you are no longer the person who drifts. Accepting that you do not need to apologize for your standard. Accepting that growth has changed you. Many people resist this moment because it feels uncomfortable to outgrow old versions of themselves. But staying small to remain familiar is not loyalty. It is limitation. There may still be echoes of your old identity. Habits formed over years do not vanish instantly. But notice the difference now. They no longer lead. They interrupt briefly, then fade. Your new identity reasserts itself. You return to focus without drama. This is proof that the shift is real. The internal language changes. You stop saying you should focus and start saying you focus. You stop hoping you will follow through and start expecting it. This expectation shapes behavior automatically. Identity becomes the engine. Discipline becomes maintenance, not force. Feel the empowerment building. This is not adrenaline. It is grounded confidence. The kind that does not need validation. You do not need others to see this shift yet. It is happening where it matters most. Inside. Identity does not require witnesses to be. Own it. Owning this identity does not mean announcing it. It means honoring it privately. It means making choices that match it when no one is watching. It means protecting focus not because you are afraid of distraction, but because you respect who you are becoming. Ownership is quiet. It shows up in consistency. You rise not by pushing others down, but by lifting yourself above old limits. That is what makes you dangerous to average. Average thinking says slow down, blend in, stay comfortable. Your identity says move with purpose, protect focus, continue forward. These messages are incompatible. One will always override the other. Now you know which one leads. Notice how your self-talk sounds different, calmer, clearer, less emotional. You do not overreact to setbacks. You adjust. You do not dramatize delays. You return. This emotional regulation is part of the identity shift. Focus thrives in stability. Stability comes from knowing who you are. Say it internally. I rise, not as a boast, as a fact. Rising is not an event. It is a direction. Say it again. This is who I am now. Let that statement settle without tension. Identity does not need to be proven immediately. It needs to be lived consistently. This chapter is a threshold. On one side is effort-driven focus. On the other is identity-driven focus. You are stepping across now. Once crossed, it is difficult to return fully to who you were. Awareness prevents it. You see too clearly now. You know the cost of distraction. You know the power of rhythm. You know how discipline builds trust. All of that has reshaped you. There will be moments ahead when challenges increase, when pressure tests this identity. That is not a threat. That is confirmation. Pressure reveals what is already there. And what is already there now is focus rooted in identity. You will notice how differently you respond. Less panic, less hesitation, more clarity, more follow-through. Average patterns will still exist around you. Noise will still exist. Distraction will still exist, but you will not live inside them. You will move through them with awareness. This is what makes the shift permanent. You are no longer fighting average. You are outgrowing it. Stay present with this feeling. Not excitement. Grounding. You are settling into a new standard. Standards do not fluctuate, they guide. This standard will shape how you approach time, energy, and responsibility. You will notice it in small choices, in what you say no to, in what you protect, in how you recover when things do not go as planned. The phrase dangerous to average is not about superiority. It is about incompatibility. Average habits cannot coexist with this identity for long. One will fade, and it will not be the one you are building now. Step into it again, each day, own it again, each choice. Identity is reinforced through repetition. The more you live it, the more natural it becomes. Soon, you will not think about focus as something you manage. You will think of it as something you are. This is the turning point because there is no going back to unawareness. You have crossed into ownership. Ownership of attention, ownership of behavior, ownership of direction. That ownership is leadership. As this chapter closes, feel the steadiness of who you are becoming. You are no longer chasing discipline. You are living it. You are no longer forcing focus. You are embodying it. This identity will carry you forward into deeper challenges and greater clarity. Average will no longer recognize you. And that is exactly the point. Stay with this shift. Let it settle. Let it define your next steps. You are becoming dangerous to average because you are becoming aligned with your future. And alignment is unstoppable. Chapter 8. Silence, Solitude, and Strategic Isolation. Growth does not always happen in motion. Sometimes it happens in distance. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is stepping back, not to escape, not to disappear, but to see clearly. This chapter is about silence, solitude, and strategic isolation, not loneliness. Strategy. The kind that sharpens you instead of softening, the kind that prepares you for what comes next. There is a misunderstanding about silence. Many people associate it with weakness, with withdrawal, with absence. But silence is not empty. Silence is selective. It is the space where clarity forms. When you remove noise, truth gets louder. When you reduce input, direction becomes visible. The 1% understand this. They step away not because they cannot handle the world, but because they intend to shape it. Distance sharpens clarity. Say that slowly in your mind. Distance. NCE sharpens clarity. When you are constantly surrounded by opinions, expectations, and updates, your thinking dulls. You react instead of choose. You absorb instead of decide. Silence interrupts that cycle. It creates room for your own voice to return, not the loud one, the honest one. Picture a blade being sharpened. It is not sharpened while cutting. It is taken away from use. It is pressed against resistance, slowly, precisely. Sparks fly, but the blade does not complain. It becomes sharper because of the process. Strategic isolation works the same way. You step away from constant interaction not to avoid effort but to prepare for precision. There is relief in this idea. You do not have to stay connected to everything. You do not have to respond to everyone. You do not have to explain why you are quieter now. This is not rejection. It is refinement. You are choosing to invest energy inward so it can be expressed outward more effectively later. Silence reveals patterns you could not see before. When the noise drops, you notice where your attention has been leaking. You see which conversations drain you, which obligations pull you away from alignment, which inputs distract you from focus. This awareness is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to empower you. You cannot protect what you do not see. Solitude is often confused with isolation. They are not the same. Solitude is chosen. It is intentional. It is time spent with yourself to recalibrate direction. Isolation is imposed. It is disconnection without purpose. This chapter is about solitude as strategy, time alone not as avoidance but as preparation. Think about how often your energy is shaped by others. Their urgency becomes yours. Their opinions influence your decisions. Their pace disrupts your rhythm. Without noticing, you adjust yourself constantly. Silence interrupts this adaptation. It allows you to reset to your own frequency, to remember what matters to you, not what is loud around you. Disconnect. This command is not dramatic, it is practical. Disconnect from unnecessary input. Disconnect from conversations that do not serve growth. Disconnect from constant stimulation. You do not need to disappear completely. You need to reduce exposure. Even small reductions create clarity. Even brief silence restores focus. When you disconnect, you reclaim authority over your attention. You stop outsourcing your mental state. You stop allowing random inputs to dictate your mood and direction. This is not control. It is leadership. Leadership over your own mind. Leadership over your own energy. There is an emotional release that happens in solitude. Pressure eases, comparison fades. You stop measuring yourself against others and start measuring yourself against your own standard. This is where confidence stabilizes. Confidence built in solitude does not need reinforcement. It is grounded. It does not fluctuate with feedback. Refocus. This command follows disconnect naturally. Once noise is reduced, focus has space to return. You notice what your mind keeps returning to when distractions are removed. That recurring thought, that persistent goal, that unresolved tension. Those are signals. They point to what matters most. Silence makes those signals impossible to ignore. Distance sharpens clarity because it removes distortion. When you step back, you see situations as they are, not as they feel in the moment. You see priorities more clearly. You see where you have been overcommitting. You see where you have been underinvesting. This clarity is not harsh. It is precise. The 1% use strategic isolation during growth phases. They understand that not every season requires visibility. Some seasons require incubation. Ideas need time to mature. Skills need repetition without interruption. Identity needs reinforcement without external influence. This is not permanent withdrawal. It is temporary alignment. There will be moments when silence feels uncomfortable, when your mind searches for stimulation, when old habits urge you to fill the space. This discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are breaking dependency. Dependency on noise, dependency on validation, dependency on constant interaction. Stay with the discomfort. It passes, and what remains is clarity. Notice how solitude changes your internal dialogue. Without constant input, your thoughts slow. They become more intentional. You stop reacting and start reflecting. Reflection deepens understanding. Understanding strengthens decision-making. Decision-making stabilizes focus. This chain reaction begins with silence. Silence empowers me. Let that affirmation settle. Silence is not absence. It is presence without distraction. It is being fully with yourself. It is listening without interruption. That listening reveals direction. You may worry that stepping back will cause you to miss opportunities. In reality, it helps you recognize the right ones. When you are constantly connected, everything looks important. When you step back, priorities separate themselves. You stop chasing everything and start choosing deliberately. Strategic isolation also protects momentum. When you are building something new, premature exposure can weaken it. Opinions arrive before confidence is solid. Doubt seeps in before identity stabilizes. Silence protects early growth. Like a seed underground, progress strengthens unseen before it breaks the surface. This does not mean avoiding. It means choosing proximity intentionally. You decide who has access to your energy. You decide which conversations deserve attention. You decide when to engage and when to remain quiet. This selectivity is not arrogance. It is respect for your process. There is strength in being unavailable sometime. Not emotionally unavailable, strategically unavailable, unavailable to distraction, unavailable to unnecessary noise, unavailable to anything that pulls you away from alignment. This unavailability creates space. Space for focus, space for growth, space for leadership. Think about how often clarity arrives when you are alone, during walks, early mornings, late nights, moments without interruption. Those moments are not accidental, they are signal. They show you where clarity lives. Strategic isolation simply creates more of those moments on purpose. Distance also changes perspective. Problems that felt overwhelming become manageable. Decisions that felt complex become simple. Emotional charge reduces. You see situations without distortion. This emotional regulation is essential for leadership. Leaders need clarity under pressure. Silence trains that skill. Disconnect again, not as a one-time act, as a rhythm. Build silence into your routine, short periods of solitude, moments without input, spaces where your mind can breathe. These moments compound. They sharpen perception over time. Refocus again. Each time you return from silence, notice how different you feel, more grounded, more intentional, less reactive. This is evidence. Evidence that distance works. Evidence that clarity increases when noise decreases. The metaphor of the blade applies again. A blade used constantly without sharpening becomes dull. It still cuts, but inefficiently. It requires more effort, more force. Eventually it damages itself. Strategic isolation is sharpening. It ensures that when you engage, you are effective, precise, powerful. There is also emotional relief in realizing you do not have to be everywhere. You do not have to keep up with everything. You do not have to respond instantly. This relief reduces stress. Reduced stress improves focus. Improved focus strengthens discipline. Discipline reinforces identity. Silence supports the identity shift you are experiencing. It gives that identity space to stabilize. Without constant external influence, you live your standards more consistently. You stop performing and start embodying. This embodiment is quiet. It does not announce itself. It simply is. You may notice that some people do not understand your silence. That is expected. Not everyone benefits from clarity. Some prefer noise. You do not need to explain your process. Explanation invites interference. Let results speak later. Silence now protects growth. Strategic isolation also teaches you to trust yourself. When you spend time alone, you rely on your own judgment. You make decisions without immediate feedback. This builds internal confidence. Confidence built this way does not collapse under criticism. It stands on self-trust. Say it again internally. Silence empowers me. Empowerment here is not dominance. It is stability. It is knowing you can be alone with your thoughts and remain grounded. That ability is rare, and it is powerful. Notice how your focus deepens when distractions are removed. You enter tasks more fully. Time feels different. You become absorbed. This state is not forced. It emerges naturally when conditions are right. Silence creates those conditions. Distance sharpens clarity not only about what to pursue, but also about what to release. In silence, you see which commitments no longer serve you, which habits drain energy, which goals no longer align. Letting go becomes easier when clarity is present. You do not cling, you choose. There is courage in stepping back. It requires confidence to be unseen temporarily. It requires trust in your process, but this courage pays off. You return stronger, clearer, more intentional. When you re-engage, you move with purpose instead of noise. Strategic isolation is not permanent, it is seasonal. There will be times to engage fully, to collaborate, to lead outward, but those seasons are more effective when preceded by silence. Engagement without clarity leads to exhaustion. Engagement with clarity leads to impact. Disconnect from urgency that is not yours. Refocus on what you have chosen. This discipline protects your energy. Energy is finite. Attention is precious. Silence helps you allocate both wisely. As this chapter deepens, feel the calm settling in. Not emptiness, spaciousness. Your mind has room now. Your thoughts align. Your direction feels steadier. This calm is not passive, it is ready. You are learning when to step back and when to step forward. That timing is leadership. Knowing when to engage and when to withdraw strategically separates those who burn out from those who endure. Silence also strengthens emotional resilience. When you are comfortable alone, you are less affected by external fluctuations. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not deflate you. You remain centered. This center is where focus lives. Return to the metaphor one more time. The blade is not sharpened forever. It requires regular maintenance. Silence is not a one-time solution. It is a practice, a rhythm, a choice you make repeatedly. Each time you choose silence, you sharpen clarity. Refocus again. Feel how naturally it happens now. Less effort, less resistance. Focus finds you when space is created. You do not chase it, you invite it. There is also joy in solitude, not loneliness, peace. The peace of not performing, the peace of not comparing, the peace of being aligned with your own direction. This peace fuels sustainable growth. You are not withdrawing from life. You are preparing to engage with it more effectively. Strategic isolation is an investment. Time spent sharpening pays dividends later. You move faster, decide better, lead stronger. Silence empowers me. Let this affirmation anchor you. Silence is a tool. Use it, respect it, build it into your life deliberately. As this chapter approaches its close, recognize what you have gained. Permission to step back, clarity through distance, strength through silence. You no longer see isolation as absent. You see it as preparation. You are not losing connection. You are refining it. When you return to engagement, it will be intentional, purposeful, aligned. You will speak less and mean more, act less frantically and with greater impact. Disconnect when needed, refocus always. This strategic distance is sharpening you now. Quietly, precisely. You are becoming clearer, stronger, and more deliberate. And when you step forward again, the difference will be unmistakable. Stay in this space just a little longer. Let clarity settle. Let silence do its work. The next stage will require you to engage under pressure, to remain focused while the world pulls at you again. This chapter prepares you for that. You are not alone in solitude. You are with yourself, and that is where leadership begins. Chapter 9, Focus Under Pressure. Pressure is not the enemy. It never was. Pressure is information. It reveals what is already there. When life pushes back, when demands increase, when expectations rise, your focus is not destroyed. It is exposed. This chapter is about learning to meet pressure without losing yourself. Calmly, deliberately, with composure that does not crack when tested. Most people believe pressure breaks focus. In reality, pressure strips away illusion. It removes comfort. It removes excess. It shows you how steady you truly are. The question is not whether pressure will come. It always does. The question is who you are when it arrives. This is where training matters. This is where identity is tested. Notice how your body responds to pressure, tightness, urgency, a desire to rush or retreat. These reactions are natural. They are signals, not commands. You do not need to eliminate them. You need to lead them. Focus under pressure begins with awareness. The moment you notice tension without reacting to it, you regain control. Breathe. This command is foundational, not deep, not forced, intentional. Breathing returns you to the present. Pressure pulls attention forward into imagined outcomes. Breathing brings it back to now, and now is where influence exists. You cannot manage pressure in the future. You manage it here. Pressure often arrives with noise, deadlines, expectations, opinions, multiple demands competing for attention. Without training, focus fracture. You jump from task to task. You react instead of choose, but you have been building something different. Rhythm, discipline, identity. Those systems activate now. Hold steady. This command is about posture, mental posture, emotional posture. You do not collapse inward. You do not lash outward. You remain centered. Steady does not mean slow. It means controlled. It means deliberate movement instead of frantic motion. Think about moments when you handled pressure well. Not perfectly. Well, you stayed present. You prioritized. You executed step by step. Those moments were not accidents. They were evidence. Evidence that focus under pressure is a skill, and skills improve with practice. Pressure amplifies habits. If your habits are scattered, pressure scatters you further. If your habits are disciplined, pressure sharpens. This is why the 1% respect pressure. They do not seek it recklessly, but they do not fear it. They know it reveals their preparation. Tension builds here because pressure forces decision. You cannot do everything. You must choose. Focus under pressure is the ability to decide what matters most and commit to it fully. This decision reduces overwhelm. Overwhelm comes from trying to hold everything at once. Focus comes from selecting one thing and honoring it. Breathe again. Notice how each breath creates space. Space between stimulus and response. That space is power. In that space you choose. You do not react. You do not panic. You lead. Life will test you here. Deadlines compress. Expectations rise. Others may rush you. They may project urgency. You do not absorb it automatically. You assess. You prioritize. You act. This is composure. Composure is not emotional suppression. It is emotional regulation. Pressure also exposes attachment. Attachment to outcomes, attachment to approval, attachment to control. Under pressure, these attachments tighten. Focus loosens them. You return attention to what you can influence. Your actions, your effort, your presence. This shift restores calm. Hold steady as the tension rises. This is where many people break rhythm. They abandon process. They abandon discipline. They chase quick relief. You do not. You stay with the fundamentals. You return to what you know works. This consistency under pressure is what separates leaders from reactors. Pressure often comes with urgency. Urgency demands speed without clarity. Focus demands clarity before speed. You are learning to slow your mind so your actions can be precise. Precision under pressure is powerful. It conserves energy. It prevents mistakes. It builds trust. Notice how your inner dialogue changes when you remain centered. It becomes simpler, fewer questions, clearer priorities. This clarity is not luck. It is the result of training. You have practiced discipline. You have built rhythm. Now it supports you. The tension peaks here because pressure challenges identity. Old patterns may resurface. Doubt may whisper. The desire to escape may appear. Stay with this. Do not turn away. Pressure is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be present. Transformation moment 3 begins now. Stay with this. Noise rising. Demand stacking. Stay with this. Breath steady. Mind clear. Stay with this. Pressure testing. Focus holding. Stay with this. You are here. You are capable. Stay with this. This is the moment where focus proves itself. Not in ease, in resistance. You are not shrinking, you are stabilizing. The world pushes. You remain. This is strength. Breathe, feel how grounding returns. Pressure loses its edge when you stop fighting it. You work with it. You let it sharpen attention instead of scatter it. Pressure becomes fuel when focus directs it. There is empowerment here. You realize you do not need perfect conditions to perform. You do not need calm circumstances to stay centered. You carry composure with it. Is internal, portable, reliable. Under pressure, you simplify, you cut excess, you prioritize essentials. This simplification creates momentum. Momentum under pressure feels different. It is quieter, more deliberate, less emotional. This is sustainable performance. Think about future situations. High stakes, limited time, competing demands. See yourself there. Calm, focused, choosing deliberately, executing steadily. That image is not fantasy. It is rehearsal. Rehearsal prepares the nervous system. When the moment arrives, familiarity replaces fear. Pressure also tests boundary. You cannot say yes to everything. Focus requires selective engagement. Under pressure, this becomes clear. You protect attention more fiercely, not out of fear but out of respect for effectiveness. Hold steady again. Feel how repetition reinforces composure. Each time you remain centered under pressure, confidence deepens. You trust yourself more. That trust reduces anxiety in future challenges. This is how resilience forms. Pressure reveals focus because focus determines response. When focus is trained, pressure becomes manageable. When focus is untrained, pressure overwhelms. You are no longer untrained. You have built systems, identity, discipline, rhythm. They activate now. Notice how your body feels when you remain centered. Less tension, more control. Your movements become efficient. Your thoughts align. This alignment is leadership in action. Others may sense it or not. That is irrelevant. You feel it, and that feeling guides you. Say it internally. I remain centered, not as a wish, as a description. Centered does not mean unaffected. It means regulated. It means aware. It means choosing response instead of reacting impulsively. Pressure will continue to visit. It always does when you grow. This is confirmation. Growth invites challenge. Challenge reveals strength. Strength reinforces identity. This cycle continues upward. You are learning that composure is not passive. It is active discipline. It requires attention. It requires presence. But it pays off. Under pressure, you conserve energy instead of wasting it on panic. Think about how different this makes you. Others may rush. You slow internally. Others may scatter. You narrow focus. Others may react emotionally. You respond deliberately. This difference compounds over time. Pressure no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a test you are prepared for. Not because you know every answer, but because you trust your process. Process is reliable under pressure. Emotion is not. Breathe again. Each breath anchors. Each breath resets you. You are not carried away by urgency. You are grounded in intention. As this chapter continues, notice the empowerment settling in. You are not avoiding pressure. You are meeting it. You are not hoping it goes away. You are using it to sharpen focus. Hold steady as complexity increases. Complexity does not require chaos. It requires structure. You provide that structure internally. You prioritize, you sequence, you execute. Pressure often exposes priorities. What truly matters becomes obvious. Lesser concerns fade. This clarity is valuable. Pressure reveals what deserves focus. Use that information. You are becoming someone who performs well when it counts. Not because you suppress stress, but because you regulate. Regulation is skill. Skill improved. This chapter is training your nervous system. Teaching it that pressure does not equal danger. Teaching it that you can remain calm while acting decisively. This training will show up later when stakes are higher. Stay with this steadiness. Let it anchor you. You are not rushing through this lesson. You are integrating it. Pressure reveals focus. It does not destroy it. Remember that. Each time pressure arrives, it is asking a question. Are you centered? Are you present? Are you disciplined? You are learning to answer yes. As this chapter begins to close, feel the confidence that comes from knowing you can handle resistance. You do not need everything to be easy. You need to be steady. And you are. I remain centered. Let that be your anchor moving forward. Centered through noise. Centered through demand. Centered through uncertainty. What comes next will increase pressure in new ways. More responsibility. More expectation. More influence. But you are not unprepared. You have learned how to hold focus when it matters most. Stay steady, stay present. Pressure will continue to reveal your strength. And now you are ready for what it shows. Chapter 10, Living Ahead of Distractions. There is a difference between reacting to life and leading it. You are learning that difference now. Reaction is always late. Reaction arrives after the moment has already taken shape. Leadership moves earlier. Leadership lives ahead of distractions, not behind them. This chapter is about anticipation, about shaping time instead of chasing it, about stepping into a mindset where focus is not constantly under threat because you have already decided where your attention belongs. Most people live inside reaction. They wake up and respond. Messages, requests, demands, noise. Their days are shaped by what reaches them first, not by what matters most. This does not make them weak. It makes them unprotected. Attention without structure is easy to hijack. You are building something different now. A strategic relationship with time. Leaders do not chase time. They shape it. They decide in advance what deserves energy. They do not wait for distractions to appear and then fight them. They design their days so distractions have less room to enter. This is proactive focus. This is living ahead. Notice how often distraction feels urgent. It asks for immediate response. It frames itself as important, but urgency does not equal priority. Reaction mistakes the two. Leadership separates them. Leadership pauses long enough to ask what actually moves the future forward. Living ahead of distractions means you no longer organize your life around interruption. You organize it around intention. This requires foresight, not prediction. Foresight, the ability to look forward and prepare your attention before it is pulled away. Think about how distractions usually catch you. They appear in familiar forms, familiar times, familiar emotional states. You have seen these patterns before. That means they are no longer surprises, and what is no longer a surprise can be planned for. Plan forward. This command is foundational. Planning forward does not mean rigid schedules. It means intentional direction. It means deciding ahead of time what your focus will be when the day begins, when the week begins, when the season begins. Planning forward removes decision fatigue. It conserves mental energy. It gives your attention a destination. Reaction drains energy because it forces constant choice. Each interruption asks a question. Will you engage or not? Over time, those questions exhaust you. Planning forward answers M in advance. You decide once, then execute many times. This is efficiency. This is leadership applied to time. Notice the calm that comes with this realization. You no longer need to be alert at all times. You no longer need to guard against every distraction. You have structure. Structure protects focus automatically. This is not control. It is design. Future pacing matters here. Picture yourself weeks ahead, months ahead. You see projects progressing steadily. You see goals advancing without constant stress. You are not rushing. You are not behind. You are moving deliberately. That future version of you is not reacting all day. They are operating within a framework they designed earlier. Living ahead of distractions also changes how you respond when interruptions do occur. You do not panic. You do not feel derailed. You assess quickly. Does this align with what I planned? If yes, you engage. If not, you defer or decline. This clarity prevents emotional reactivity. You remain centered. Lead time. This command speaks to ownership. Leading time means deciding how your time will be used before others decide for you. It means allocating focus intentionally. It means creating blocks of attention that are protected. Time is not something that happens to you. It is something you shape. Most people experience time as pressure. There is never enough. They feel chased by it. Leaders experience time as a resource. Finite but manageable. They respect it. They protect it. They invest it where it compounds. Living ahead of distractions requires a strategic mindset. Strategy is not complexity. It is clarity, knowing what matters most and aligning actions accordingly. Strategy removes randomness. It replaces chaos with sequence. Is powerful. Doing the right things in the right order reduces effort. Reaction scrambles order. Leadership restores it. When you plan forward, you decide sequence. You choose what comes first. You give your best energy to your highest priorities. Notice how this shifts your internal experience. Anxiety decreases. Overwhelm fades. You stop feeling pulled in multiple directions. This is not because demands disappear. It is because direction stabilizes. Distractions lose power when they arrive into a structured environment. They bounce off boundary. They do not dominate your attention. This is not resistance. It is containment. Focus thrives in containment. There is tension here because anticipation requires responsibility. You can no longer blame distraction for lost time. You see patterns clearly now. You know when and where focus leaks. That awareness brings accountability, not punishment. Power. Living ahead also means preparing mentally. You anticipate challenges. You visualize pressure. You rehearse responses. This preparation reduces shock. When challenges arrive, they feel familiar. Familiarity breeds calm. Think about athletes. They do not wait to react during competition. They train responses until they are automatic. You are doing the same with focus, training your attention to move where you want it before distraction demands it. Plan forward again. This time think smaller. Tomorrow, the next hour. What will you focus on? Decide now. That decision creates momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Living ahead of distractions also changes how you experience free time. Free time becomes intentional, not accidental. You rest deliberately. You disconnect deliberately. Rest becomes restorative because it is chosen, not stolen by distraction. This is leadership of rhythm. Work, rest, focus, recovery, reaction disrupts rhythm. Leadership designs it. When rhythm is stable, energy stabilizes. When energy stabilizes, focus deepens. The empowerment builds here because you realize you are no longer at the mercy of your environment. You influence it. You shape it. You design your days instead of surviving them. Say it internally. I move first. This is not aggression. It is initiative. Moving first means deciding before distraction decides for you. It means setting direction early. Moving first also builds confidence. Each time you anticipate and prepare, you prove to yourself that you can lead your attention. That proof compounds. There will still be unexpected events. Leadership does not eliminate uncertainty. It manages. When the unexpected arrives, you adjust without losing direction. Because direction was already established. Living ahead of distractions means you no longer wake up asking what demands your attention. You wake up knowing. That knowledge creates calm. Future pacing again. Imagine yourself at the end of a demanding day. You feel tired but fulfilled, not drained. You know you focused on what mattered. You did not give your attention away randomly. That satisfaction is powerful. It reinforces the behavior. This chapter also teaches restraint. You do not respond to everything immediately. You allow space. Space gives perspective. Perspective improves decision. Plan forward is not about filling every moment. It is about protecting key moments. Those moments drive results. The rest supports them. Lead time means recognizing that time shapes identity. How you spend it daily defines who you become. You are shaping identity now through anticipation. Notice how this mindset reduces urgency. Urgency thrives in reaction. Anticipation neutralizes. You no longer feel rushed internally, even when externally busy. Living ahead of distractions also requires saying no. No to unnecessary commitments. No to constant availability. No to inputs that do not align. This is not rejection. It is selection. Selection is leadership. You select where your attention goes. You select which opportunities deserve energy. This selectivity increases impact. The tension resolves into empowerment. You feel lighter, clearer, more in control, not controlling others, leading yourself. Say it again. I move first. Let it feel grounded. Moving first does not mean moving fast. It means moving intentionally. Think about how different tomorrow will feel if you decide tonight what matters. That simple act shifts power. It moves you ahead of distractions before they appear. Living ahead also means reviewing. Looking back briefly to adjust forward plans. Strategy is dynamic. It adapts. Reaction does not adapt. It only responds. Leaders shape time by creating systems. Systems reduce reliance on willpower. Systems protect focus when energy dips. You are building systems now, even if you do not label them that way. Plan forward one more time. Picture the next challenge. See yourself prepared, focused, calm. That image trains your response. When the moment arrives, your nervous system recognizes. The chapter deepens as you realize this is not about productivity. It is about leadership of attention. Attention shapes reality. Where attention goes, outcomes follow. Distractions are not evil, they are unmanaged inputs. When you live ahead, inputs are filtered. Focus remains clean. Lead time again. Decide when you will engage and when you will not. Decide when you will think deeply and when you will rest. These decisions free you from constant negotiation. You are no longer chasing time because you are directing. This shift is profound. It changes how you experience pressure, workload, and responsibility. Notice how calm empowerment replaces urgency. You are not rushing to catch up. You are already ahead. That feeling is earned through preparation. Living ahead of distractions is a long-term advantage. Over time, small anticipatory decisions compound into significant progress. Others may not see it immediately. That is fine. You feel it. Say it internally again. I move first. This is initiative. This is ownership. This is leadership. As this chapter approaches its close, recognize what has changed. You no longer wait for distraction to test your focus. You anticipate and design around it. You shape time instead of being shaped by it. This mindset will carry you forward into greater responsibility, more influence, more demand, but you are not intimidated. You are prepared. Plan forward, lead time, move first. The next stage will ask you to embody this leadership quietly, without announcement, through example. This chapter has given you the tools, the mindset, the anticipation. Stay ahead, focus lives there. Chapter 11, becoming the example without announcing it. There comes a moment when the need to be seen fades, not because you are hiding, because you are solid. This is that moment. You are no longer driven by recognition. You are driven by alignment, and alignment speaks louder than words ever could. This chapter is about quiet power, the kind that does not introduce itself, the kind that does not explain, the kind that becomes undeniable over time. Most people announce who they want to be. They talk about goals. They describe intentions. They seek confirmation before results exist. This is not wrong. It is simply early. You are beyond that stage now. You are no longer trying to convince. You are becoming the example, and examples do not speak first. They move first. True power is quiet and undeniable. Let that settle. Power that needs validation is unstable. Power that needs applause is dependent. Quiet power stands on behavior, on consistency, on results that accumulate without announcement. This kind of power does not rush. It does not compare. It does not perform. It simply operates. Notice how different your internal state feels now. You are not chasing approval. You are not measuring yourself against noise. You are grounded. Grounded people do not need to raise their voice. They do not need to defend their path. They trust their process enough to let time speak for them. Stay grounded. This command matters here. Grounded means connected to your values, connected to your rhythm, connected to your standards. When you are grounded, external opinions pass through without sticking. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not destabilize you. You remain centered because your foundation is internal. Becoming the example is not a performance. It is a byproduct. When you show up consistently, when you follow through, when you protect focus, when you lead yourself quietly, others notice. Not immediately, but inevitably. Consistency leaves traces. Over time, those traces become patterns. Patterns become proof. You may notice that fewer people ask you for explanations now. You may notice that words carry more weight when you do speak. This is not coincidence. Silence amplifies impact. When you speak less, what you say matters more. When you announce less, what you do matters more. There is relief here. You no longer need to manage perception. You no longer need to curate an image. You no longer need to correct misunderstanding. You are free to focus fully on execution. This freedom increases effectiveness. Effectiveness builds results. Results eliminate the need for explanation. Let results talk. This command is about restraint. Restraint is power. It takes confidence to let actions speak without commentary. It takes patience to allow progress to unfold without broadcasting every step. This patience is not passive. It is strategic. Think about leaders you respect, not those who demand attention, those who command respect without asking. Their presence is steady. Their actions are consistent. Their standards are clear. They do not explain themselves repeatedly. They do not seek validation. They lead through example. You are moving into that space now, not because you decided to imitate it, because your habits have shaped you into it. Discipline built rhythm. Rhythm built identity. Identity now expresses itself quietly. There may be moments when you feel the urge to announce progress, to share proof, to seek acknowledgement. Pause in those moments. Ask yourself what you gain. Most of the time, silence gains more. Silence protects momentum. Silence keeps energy directed forward instead of outward. Stay grounded again. Grounded does not mean detached. It means present. You engage fully when it matters. You withdraw when it does not. This discernment is leadership. People who announce often feel pressure to maintain an image. People who operate quietly feel freedom to improve. Improvement thrives in privacy. It allows mistakes without embarrassment. It allows refinement without scrutiny. This is why true growth often happens unseen. The tension in this chapter comes from restraint. Restraint is uncomfortable for the ego. The ego wants recognition. It wants reassurance. It wants confirmation. Leadership requires something else. It requires patience. Patience allows results to mature. Transformation moment 4 begins here. Stay with this. No announcement. No explanation. Stay with this. Work done quietly. Progress compounding. Stay with this. Others watching without knowing why. Stay with this. Consistency showing. Results forming. Stay with this. This is where quiet power locks in. You are no longer concerned with being noticed. You are concerned with being effective. That shift changes everything. Effectiveness does not need an audience. It produces outcomes that eventually draw attention naturally. Let results talk does not mean silence forever. It means timing your voice. When you do speak, it carries weight, because it is backed by action, because it is earned. There is empowerment in this restraint. You conserve energy. You reduce distraction. You remain focused on what matters. You are no longer pulled into unnecessary conversations. You choose where to engage. Notice how calm confidence replaces urgency. You are not rushing to prove yourself. You are building something durable. Durability requires patience. Patience requires trust. You trust yourself now. Say it internally. I embody leadership, not as a title, as behavior. Leadership is not a position. It is a standard you maintain regardless of recognition. Embodying leadership means you do what needs to be done even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. This integrity is invisible to most, but it shapes everything. You may notice that some people misinterpret your silence. They may assume disengagement. That is fine. Clarity does not require universal understanding. Your responsibility is not to be understood by everyone. It is to remain aligned. Quiet leaders create space. Space for others to step up. Space for results to stand on their own. Space for progress without interference. This space is intentional. Stay grounded when attention does come. Do not let it pull you off rhythm. Attention can be as distracting as noise. Praise can derail as easily as criticism if you allow it. Grounded leadership receives feedback without chasing it. Let results talk again. Results accumulate through consistency, not through bursts, not through announcement, through steady execution over time. This is the advantage you are building. Think about the future version of you operating in this way. Calm, effective, unrushed, trusted. Not because you demanded trust, because you demonstrated reliability. That future is not far. You are rehearsing it daily now. Becoming the example also means accepting responsibility. When you lead by example, others may follow. Not because you ask them to, because behavior is contagious. This responsibility does not require perfection. It requires consistency. You do not need to correct others. You do not need to persuade. Your actions do that work. This reduces conflict. It reduces noise. It increases impact. True power is quiet and undeniable. Quiet because it does not seek attention. Undeniable because results accumulate. Over time, even skepticism fades. Proof replaces opinion. Notice how this chapter feels different. Less urgency, more stability. You are settling into a role you do not need to announce. You are embodying it. Stay grounded when progress feels slow. Quiet growth often feels invisible in the moment, but it is compounding. Trust the process you have built. It has carried you this far. Let results talk when doubt arises. Doubt dissolves in the presence of action. Each completed task is evidence. Each kept commitment is proof. You do not need to argue with doubt. You outwork it quietly. Leadership without announcement also protects you from comparison. When you are not broadcasting, you are not measuring yourself against others constantly. You measure against your own standard. This internal benchmark is stable. Say it again internally. I embody leadership. Let it feel normal. Leadership does not need excitement to be real. It needs consistency. There will be moments when others suddenly notice progress, when questions arise, when attention increases. Respond calmly. Do not rush to explain. Let curiosity exist. Your focus remains forward. Stay grounded again. Grounded leadership does not change under attention. It remains steady. This steadiness builds trust. This chapter prepares you for greater influence. Influence that arrives because of results, not noise. Influence that carries responsibility. You are learning how to hold it without ego. Becoming the example also means knowing when not to lead outward. Sometimes leadership means stepping back, allowing others to grow, not needing to be the center. This humility strengthens authority. Quiet leaders are often underestimated early. That is an advantage. Underestimation creates space. Space allows uninterrupted growth. Use it. Let results talk one more time. Let them speak slowly. Let them speak clearly. Let them speak without embellishment. Truth does not need exaggeration. As this chapter approaches its close, feel the calm confidence you are carrying now. You are not proving. You are producing. You are not announcing. You are embodying. This stage of growth is subtle but powerful. Many people never reach it because they need validation too soon. You have learned restraint. Restraint preserves momentum. Stay grounded as you move forward. Let results talk as you continue building. Leadership is no longer something you aspire to. It is something you practice daily. I embody leadership. Let that be your quiet truth. The next stage will ask you to lock this identity in permanently, not as a phase, as a standard. You are ready for that now. Chapter 12, Focus for Life. This is not a peak. This is a foundation. What you have built is no longer fragile. It does not depend on mood. It does not require constant reinforcement. Focus is no longer something you practice. It is something you live. This chapter is about locking that identity permanently, about understanding without doubt that you do not return to average, ever. You have crossed too many internal lines to go back. You have seen too clearly. You have felt the difference between drift and direction, between reaction and leadership, between noise and clarity. Once awareness reaches this depth, regression becomes impossible. You may pause, you may slow, but you do not return. Focus has become who you are. There is an emotional victory here, but it is quiet. It does not shout, it settles. It feels like solidity, like standing on ground that does not move when pressure comes. You are no longer proving anything. You are established internally. That establishment changes how you experience life. Focus for life does not mean intensity every day. It means alignment every day. It means your actions consistently reflect your values. It means your time tells the truth about who you are becoming. This truth is stable. It does not fluctuate with circumstance. Pause and visualize your future self again. Not as a distant dream, but as a continuation. See yourself years from now. Notice how natural focus feels. You do not think about it often. You simply live it. Your days have rhythm. Your decisions have clarity. Your presence has weight. You are not rushed. You are not scattered. You are deliberate. This future version of you does not fight distraction constantly. Distraction exists, but it no longer tempts. It feels irrelevant, like an old language you no longer speak. Focus filters your environment automatically. You gravitate toward what matters. You disengage from what does not. This is not effort. This is identity. You don't return to average because average no longer fits. Average thinking feels uncomfortable. Waiting feels wrong. Drifting feels obvious. You notice misalignment immediately and correct it. This self-correction is calm, automatic, reliable. There is pride here, but it is grounded, not ego-driven, earned. Pride in knowing you follow through. Pride in knowing you can trust yourself. Pride in knowing you lead your own mind. This pride does not need recognition. It is internal. Continue. This command now means sustain. Continue does not mean push harder. It means maintain standards. It means honoring what you have built. Consistency at this stage is not fragile. It is reinforced by identity. Think about how different challenges will feel now. New responsibilities, greater pressure, higher stakes. You meet them as someone focused, not someone scrambling. You bring structure into chaos, calm into urgency, direction into uncertainty. This is leadership expressed through present. Advance. This command is about progression. You do not stagnate, you refine, you improve, you grow deliberately. Advancement does not require upheaval. It requires intention. Small upgrades, clear priorities, honest reflection. Focus for life also means resilience. When setbacks happen, you do not spiral, you assess, you adjust, you continue. Focus absorbs impact. It prevents collapse. It allows recovery without loss of direction. Notice how repetition escalates here. Not frantic, reinforcing, you continue, you advance, you lead again and again. Each repetition strengthens identity. Each repetition deepens trust. Lead, this command now applies beyond yourself. Not through instruction, through example. Your focus influences environments. Your calm steadies others. Your consistency raises standards without words. Leadership radiates outward naturally when identity is stable. You may not notice this influence immediately. That is fine. It is happening regardless. Focused people change rooms. They change pace. They change outcomes. Not by force, by presence. Focus for life also changes how you rest. Rest becomes intentional. You disconnect without guilt. You recover without losing direction. Rest supports focus instead of undermining it. This balance prevents burnout. It ensures longevity. Visualize another future moment. A difficult season, pressure high, demands heavy. See yourself there, steady, focus intact. You breathe, you prioritize, you execute. This is not hope. It is expectation, because identity does not disappear under stress. It reveals itself. You are no longer asking if you can handle it. You know you can. That confidence is quiet but unshakable. Repetition continues. Continue, advance, lead. Let these words settle into muscle memory. They are no longer motivation. They are instruction. Focus for life means you recognize distractions early. You do not let them grow. You adjust quickly. Course correction becomes second nature. This prevents drift. Drift cannot survive awareness paired with discipline. There is also acceptance here. Acceptance that growth never ends. Focus is not a finish line. It is a way of moving. You will continue refining how you protect attention, how you shape time, how you lead yourself. This refinement keeps identity alive. You decide who you become. This affirmation is no longer aspirational, it is descriptive. You have been deciding daily, through choices, through discipline, through restraint. Decision is embedded now. Say it internally. I decide who I become, feel the certainty. Decision is not loud, it I. As consistent. This is permanent. Let that land fully. Permanent does not mean rigid. It means irreversible awareness. You cannot unknow what you know. You cannot unbuild what you have built. Focus is now part of your structure. There may be moments of fatigue, that is human. Fatigue does not undo identity, it invites rest. You rest, then return. Return is automatic now. Focus for life also brings patience. You think long-term. You measure progress in years, not days. This patience reduces anxiety. You trust compounding. You trust process. Others may still chase urgency. You do not. You move with intention. That difference becomes more visible over time. Continue. Continue honoring your standards. Continue protecting your attention. Continue choosing alignment over noise. Advance your skills. Advance your thinking. Advance your capacity. Advancement is deliberate, not rushed. Lead yourself first. Lead environments quietly. Lead outcomes through consistency. Repetition escalates again. Continue. Advance, lead, continue, advance, lead. These are no longer commands you resist. They are movements you recognize. Focus for life means your days feel purposeful even when they are simple. Purpose does not require drama. It requires alignment. You wake up knowing what matters. You go to sleep knowing you honored it. There is emotional victory here because doubt no longer dominates. Doubt may appear, but it does not lead. Focus leads. Identity leads. Visualize one final future moment. Years ahead, you look back, not with regret, with respect. Respect for the consistency you maintained. Respect for the distractions you declined. Respect for the leadership you embodied quietly. That respect is earned. You don't return to average because average cannot hold you. Your standards are higher. Your awareness deeper. Your discipline stronger. Average thinking slides off you. Focus is now who you are when things are easy, and who you are when things are hard. That is permanence. Say it again internally. This is permanent. Let it be calm. Let it be settled. There is nothing left to chase here. only something to live. You live focused, you live deliberate, you live aligned. Continue living this way without needing to remind yourself constantly. Identity carries you. Advance when opportunity appears. You will recognize it clearly now. Lead when influence is needed. You will feel when it is time. This chapter does not end with urgency. It ends with certainty, the kind that does not fade. Focus is no longer a phase. It is your baseline. You decide who you become. This is permanent. Continue. Advance. Lead. Final conclusion. You have traveled far to arrive here, not in distance but in depth. You moved from noise to clarity, from reaction to leadership, from scattered effort to deliberate focus. Along the way, you learned to protect attention, to stand firm under pressure, to live ahead of distraction, and to let results speak. Each chapter stripped away what was unnecessary and strengthened what was. That is why this feels different now. This is not motivation. This is recognition. Take a breath and feel the release. You no longer need to search for direction. You built it. You no longer need permission to lead. You claimed it. The uncertainty that once followed you has quieted, replaced by calm confidence. You trust yourself because you proved yourself. That proof lives in your habits, your choices, your restraint, and your consistency. You are focused now, not temporarily, not conditionally. Focus is no longer something you borrow when circumstances are easy. It is who you are when life is demanding. You don't drift, you correct. You don't scatter, you prioritize. You don't wait, you decide. This is your life-level call to action. Live what you have built. Protect your attention as if it shapes your future, because it does. Lead your days before they lead. Choose depth over noise. Choose consistency over excitement. Choose alignment over comfort. Every day, in ordinary moments, reinforce this identity. You lead quietly, reliably, without needing approval. You move forward with intention, and that intention compounds. Others may follow, others may not. That no longer matters. You are accountable to your standard. This is your standard. You are focused now. You don't drift. You lead. Say it and mean it. I am ready. I rise. I decide. This is where you continue. Grounded, disciplined, and fully alive now. You made it to the end. That already says something about you. Most people stop early. You stayed. If this audiobook challenged you, if it sharpened your focus, if it reminded you of who you're becoming, then don't let this be a one-time moment. This channel exists for people who choose growth, discipline over comfort, clarity over noise, progress over excuses. If you want more audiobooks like this, more mindset training, more leadership, more inner strength, subscribe, like this video so it reaches the people who need it, and share it with someone who's ready to rise but hasn't found the words yet. Stay consistent, protect your mind, and keep moving forward. This is only the beginning.